Hey everyone, this is Hannah with the Rocket Miner giving you another video news update. Wanted to start off with going over the COVID numbers for today and seeing where we're at with that. Today the Wyoming Department of Health has reported that we had an increase of 415 new confirmed cases since yesterday, and this means that now with all the total confirmed and probable cases together, we are just shy of 30,000 total cases for the state. Today we have 11,861 active cases throughout Wyoming. That's gone up by 68 since yesterday, and yesterday was especially a pretty significant increase from where we were at over the weekend. For a few days there we started to see the numbers going down, especially the active case number had gone back down below 11,000, and now it's back again and close to 12,000 and gone back up. Obviously with the numbers it's easy for them to go up and down, especially depending on testing and if tests are delayed, and sometimes we see that kind of lag in some of the results when they're reported. So that can be part of it. Obviously there are a lot of different factors that influence these numbers, but it is true that even though things were looking like they were going down again over the weekend, we are back up and further up than we've been in the past once again. Unfortunately also yesterday the Department of Health updated the death total for Wyoming. It is now at 202, which is an increase of 26 from where it was at before. We don't yet have the specific information on those deaths, on where they occurred or the ages or anything of the people involved, but those deaths were recorded in the number. And there was an explanation from the health department in a news release that they shared that they would continue to update the confirmed death total on the website, which is just the number that we see there, but the information about the more specifics about those deaths is not going to be shared until December 1st. They will have a news release then that gives more details and information about those deaths, but that number did go up, and we have seen the numbers go up again since the weekend. Unfortunately, here locally, as numbers continue to go up and we continue to have a lot of active cases here in Sweetwater County, that is having an effect on some of the things that we've been wanting to do at the end of the year. And we learned today that, unfortunately, due to the continued spread of COVID in our county, some of the upcoming Christmas events in downtown Rock Springs have had to be canceled. Events that have been canceled as of now include the Christmas Llamas, which was going to be a new event this year. They're hoping to be able to come next year instead, but they won't be here this year. The Bar-J Wranglers Christmas concert as well has been canceled, and the screening of the Polar Express. Especially with the concert and the Polar Express, those are events that are usually at the Broadway Theater that bring in a pretty significant crowd, and especially with the Bar-J Wranglers concert, they noted that that usually draws in older people who are interested in that concert and people who are in a more vulnerable age group and more at risk from the virus. So because of some of those considerations, those events have also been canceled. Downtown Rock Springs also noted that, unrelated to the virus, the horse and carriage rides that usually happen in downtown Rock Springs are not going to be happening this year. Trina Britton, who is the downtown Rock Springs marketing events coordinator, said, "We realize everyone was hoping to reconnect at these events, especially after months of separation due to the pandemic. However, we need to limit the risk of infection." Obviously, it's always sad to have events like this be canceled, especially things that happen every year that people look forward to and make plans around. But just considering the nature of some of these events and just the current situation with where we're at with COVID right now in Sweetwater County, they went ahead and made the decision to cancel these events just out of a desire to protect people and to keep everyone safe and to keep from spreading the virus more. Today, as I was looking through the news stories, obviously I always go over the COVID numbers and I note things like that, and I was thinking about these events that were canceled, and things like that can be really discouraging and really upsetting, and sometimes news can feel like doom scrolling, as they call it online, or just feel like a lot of negative things that are being reported. But I'm thankful that there is a lot of positive stuff too, and there have been a lot of awesome, good things happening lately, especially here in Sweetwater County, around the state. And specifically, I've seen a lot of stories lately about people's generosity and giving to meet the needs of other people. So I wanted to share some of those things that have been happening, especially recently, where people have given and shown generosity and stepped up to meet needs. Today, the nutrition services staff in Sweetwater County School District Number 1 handed out free meals for families with children under 18 who needed help getting through the Thanksgiving break. That happened for an hour today, where they handed out those meals to anyone with children under 18 who needed that for this week. Scouting for Food happened last Saturday. That's the annual Scouts food drive. They collected 5,104 pounds of food in Rock Springs and 2,093 pounds in Green River. And that went to the Food Bank of Sweetwater County to help people who use that resource. More food being donated and money raised for that came from the employees of J.R. Simplot. They raised just under $40,000 for a lot of different community programs through the 2020 United Way of Southwest Wyoming Workplace campaign. And then the company matched those donations for a grand total of nearly $80,000 that was donated. And in addition to that, through an internal food sales fundraiser, they raised an additional $2,500, and that was also matched. And the employees and family and friends were invited to purchase boxes of frozen goods, and that totaled $5,000, and that was to benefit United Way's annual workplace campaign as well. So with all of this money and food and things raised, they gave this out then to local agencies, and they had the money that was raised and then 350 food boxes that were directly donated. And these resources and things went to the Food Bank of Sweetwater County, Golden Hour Senior Center, Rock Springs Young at Heart, the YWCA of Sweetwater County, and Youth Home, Inc. And those boxes of food that they donated totaled 7,000 pounds of food. And then with other donations, the Women's Club of Rock Springs has been giving out lots of donations from fundraisers that they have been doing, and they've been giving those to a lot of different local organizations. They gave a donation to the Rock Springs Police Department to fund a protective vest for K-9 Leo, as well as a buddy bench for Desert View Elementary School. They gave checks of $250 each to Youth Home, Inc., the Ray Lovato Recycling Center, and the Food Pantry at Western Wyoming Community College. And they said that the club's treasurer is also working on finalizing some donations of $250 each to the Scottish Rite Language Center, St. Christopher Program for Stranded Travelers, Young at Heart Prescription Program, Family Resource Center, and the Center for Families and Children. Also, the club gave $1,500 in book grants to students at Western Wyoming Community College this fall. So lots of donations, lots of food and money and gifts being raised and given to local organizations. Also, the Festival of Trees is happening right now. It just started yesterday. The trees are up at Commerce Bank. You can go view them, see all the beautifully decorated trees, the gift baskets and decor and everything else they have. And that event always raises money for the YWCA of Sweetwater County and helps them to continue to provide their services and resources for families in need in the community. Obviously, all of that is local stuff that's been happening. There's been other awesome stuff throughout Wyoming. There's a story you should definitely check out that we shared on rocketminer.com and on our Facebook. It comes from our sister paper, the Laramie Boomerang. And the headline is Black 14 LDS groups distribute 5 tons of food. And that's just a really cool story about those groups and how they got together and again just got all this food and distributed it to people in need in Laramie. So definitely check that out too. And I was just really encouraged by all of these stories. I thought it was great to see the ways that people are coming together and giving so freely of their own money, their own resources, and just banding together to compile these resources to give them to people in need and to all the organizations in our county that are so good at being there as a resource for people when they need them. And I thought that was just a great thing to keep in mind right now. There's so much going on and so much that people are going through, but especially as we come into the holidays with Thanksgiving this week and as we look forward to Christmas, there's obviously so much happening this year. There are things being canceled, there are things we can't do, and that's disappointing. But there are still so many things we can do and so many resources and ways that we can show kindness to other people. And that is what's meaningful. That's what has an impact on people's lives. And that's what's really at the heart of these holidays and what's important. I found a quote earlier this week that I really liked. I used it if you're on our social media. I do Motivational Mondays and shared that this week. But it's a quote from W.T. Perkser, and it says, "Not what we say about our blessings, but how we use them is the true measure of our thanksgiving." And I want to encourage everyone with that this week as you celebrate Thanksgiving, just remember that it's awesome to say that we're thankful for the things that we have. But how do we show that? How do we put that into action? And then how do we share what we've been given that we're thankful for with other people who are in need? How do we share those blessings and show that love and kindness? So want to encourage everyone to look for ways that you can get involved and to notice all the good that's happening around us, and just keep that in mind and be thankful for that this Thanksgiving. Thank you for listening, and I hope everyone has a good night.